It's pretty cool. Welcome to HyFlex Technology Workshop. I'm Kevin Zaragoza, and we're here on behalf of Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning right across the. So this room right here is a really nice new furniture-filled room. This is Heafey 655-656, which is actually across this room here. And so the previous two workshops were actually held here. And the reason we kind of started here is because all this furniture that you see is brand new. We just got it this summer, and as you can see at the very bottom of the desk and chairs, what do you see?
Like storage or moving or
Yeah, storage tools, and then even beneath that,
rollers.
rollers, right? So yeah, wheels. So this room here, it's an active learning classroom, and so towards sometime the end of this workshop, we'll go ahead and even give you some examples of how we can reorganize this room in order to make it even more engaging on top of all the technology we're going to be talking about. Without further ado, let's go ahead and continue. So in this 1 hour workshop, participants will learn about the technology required to utilize and engage students during a HyFlex class. Participants will be able to connect their own devices and get hands-on experience with everything discussed. Before we move forward, Kitty, would you like to join into the Zoom session?
Yeah.
So that you can also get that sort of student perspective if we do run into some troubleshooting issues or just challenges in general, we can go ahead and attack them on the spot.
Okay.
So I'll go ahead and read you the code. And the code is, ready? 997-339-496-96. And then Iching, I'll go ahead and make you co-host as well. So let's see if we run into something. There we go. Oh, lovely. Oh, you're extra prepared. Yeah. So, I'll try to talk a little bit. Lower the volume on your MacBook for now. And then we also want to make sure that we mute our microphone. So, because if the amplification of the sound, it picks it up here, just the proximity of the devices, it creates that echo.
So that was actually, we purposefully
Yeah.
did not do that because that's a very common issue.
Yes.
When your in-person student bring their personal device and use it in the classroom,
Right.
we only allow one microphone and one speaker in the classroom. Otherwise, there will be echoing. So if the instructor is already using microphone and speaker, it's very important to remind your students to mute themselves
Yeah.
and also turn their volume all the way down.
And then down solid.
That's the two things.
Uh-huh.
Yes,
Okay.
that was.
That's in the first sort of step when we do have a full class. So that was one device. That was pretty loud. Now imagine a class if you have 20 students.
Right.
All at the same time. It's just madness, right? So these are the things we're going to talk about in accounting to see how we can overcome them. So yeah, definitely hands on. What is it required to engage to go ahead and move forward? Oh, I clicked out of it. Let me go ahead and make it active again. And so for the workshop objectives for today, Ichi, can you please read the first one?
I'm more familiar with the required technology to facilitate a HyFlex class.
Thank you very much. And Kitty, second.
Gain working knowledge of how to troubleshoot technical issues that may occur before and during instruction.
Thank you. And then utilize university resources to better promote course material and increase accessibility to students. So these are the workshop objectives for today. Still not working, eh? There it is. So connecting wirelessly. Faculty who have been coming to our workshops, for the most part, they haven't been on campus in a long time. So even before we start to get into the material for today, I can see you're already connected to the network. It's because you were able to join the Zoom session. But when you join the network, what this does, it sort of unlocks the ability to be able to connect to the devices wherever you are on campus. So if you do want to connect to the screen here, for example, you must make sure that you're on HMU Wi-Fi. Okay. And should we do the demo where we connect wirelessly? Okay. Okay. So, Kitty, on your, because we're both on Mac, can you tell me on the Mac, which one of these icons up top is a screen mirroring icon?
It's the one that has the double screen.
This one here?
Yeah.
Very good. Very, very good. Yeah, so this is a screen mirroring option. So on your device, do you see that right now?
It's not on the top.
It's on the top,
So I
okay.
have to go to preferences
System preferences.
and then, access to my desktop.
So by default, if I'm not mistaken, this is turned on. It comes up at the top when active. That's the default setting. You can have the option to always keep it up there. If you'd like to learn how to do that, we can definitely go that route as well. But for now, if you can go ahead and get the screen mirroring options up, you should see a list, and within that list, you'll see Heafey 663.
I went to displays and then dropped down and.
Great. And then does it tell you a code or something? Or is it still loading? And then Heafey 663 at the very top.
I know why. Because I tried it in a different classroom. So it's important to know if you are allowing another person to display their screen, or the big display screen, you have to stop your mirroring first.
Oh, okay.
So now try again.
That makes sense.
So it's not like Zoom, where if you share your screen, it overtakes the other person.
Yeah.
On here, it's
Okay.
disconnect to connect.
And it's slightly different in different rooms. So this room gives you a code for you to input. However, in active learning classroom 655, it doesn't give you that code. However, the steps are the same, right? And just a reminder, if you are going to, we learned that students are on different Wi-Fi, so they might not be able to project their screen to the big display screen. However, CITO does purchase a lot of iPads this summer. So, and they are all connected to the staff Wi-Fi, which means that if you check out iPad for group work for your class and student work on those, if they want to project their screen, the group, yeah, they can do it. Yes.
Okay.
A lot of class facilitation and balance. Yeah.
So that might be a really good thing is they're doing like a presentation and it's on Google Docs, the PowerPoint. Right, and then they could just do it that way.
Yeah, so you don't need to check out devices. But iPad is just an option.
But I would have to check it out before class and then okay. So just like a little bit of extra planning.
Yeah. So our checkout form does accommodate for that extra time. In that email, we'll always get, so once we receive that checkout form request, we'll definitely reach out to you, whoever checks it out beforehand. Please come in at least 30 minutes, for example, so that we make sure everything is aligned with what you want.
Okay.
So I'll try something new, actually, Kenny, since we're here. Can you open up any PowerPoint just so that we can see if we run into this issue? If you want to do a recent one, yeah, that's fine. And then can you go ahead and go into slideshow view right here? Let's see what comes up just by the default settings. Yes. So if we go to slideshow view, let's see what happens. Is it still thinking or is it on slideshow view on your device? Okay, there it goes.
It says the link document contains online media, if you trust this file, blah, blah, and blah.
Is this on OneDrive?
No, it's right off of my computer.
Oh, yeah, the video on this.
Yeah, I
Okay, great.
should.
No, that's fine. Totally fine. That's great, actually. If I was your student, that makes my that's cool. So this is actually very good. As soon as you connect it to the monitor here, I can see that it's already full screen. What do you see on your device? Is it also, so you have the, what is it, notes view or instructor view, kind of like that? Your device is already set up quite perfectly. If by any chance you do run into the situation though, where you're not in this classroom and you kind of get the other view, I know there in the top left, you get the swap displays icon.
Yeah.
Right. So if that ever comes the case, just make sure that you select the swap display. And if you ever want to just mirror, yeah, sometimes this happens where the slideshow view is actually on your computer,
Right.
and then the notes are here.
It's familiar, right?
And then take this into consideration. Let's say there's a slide.
Another generation. Really,
Yeah, you want to keep this in mind because if it, you have a quiz coming up or something like that, and then your answers are on the screen, you want to keep those things in mind. And then if you just another sort of option is this slideshow view option to the right plus display. That's just an exact mirror.
How do I swap it back? No.
Oh, now you have to, okay, so this is fun. I don't know the default one, so put your mouse all the way to the left, like keep going to the left, to the top, or to the right. It's one of those three. I don't think it's, so there it is. I'm assuming it's to the right. Keep going right. There it is.
But I can't. Oh, I see what's happening.
Yeah. So this is where things get a little bit weird, however.
My mouse on here.
Right. So it's using it as an external display. Imagine you're at your home, you have two monitors, correct?
Yeah.
So do you use another monitor at home?
No, here I do.
Here.
So I double my laptop and my monitor is double screen. So I sync up my laptop and then once I connect it, then I use both. So
That's great. Yeah, that's exactly how we work. So in your office or wherever you are with other monitor, is your monitor on the right? So it's kind of keeping those settings in mind. Yeah. Correct. Yeah. So that's what's going on. So yeah, I'm glad we kind of went over that. We haven't done that before, but again, we try to improve every single time. So there we go. So yeah, please go ahead and escape this. Do you have any questions on connect? Okay. So I'll go ahead and start sharing my screen again.
Do I need to manually turn off my mirror?
Yeah. So just click where we click to connect it. Just go ahead and click it once more. It'll sort of like uncheck.
Fortunately, like I'm relatively tech savvy, so then it's like, I'm like, okay, got it.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to have a HyFlex possibility because I feel like this is going to be a game changer for my work with students, and kind of filling the gap because I feel like that gap has been challenging to fill. And then I'm looking forward.
Right on. Yeah, that definitely gets us, as I mentioned, excited. In the other workshop, again, this is basically what we just went through. And so just making sure that once you're on the network, that we connect to the correct classroom. Because when you're here and you're on the network and every single classroom has a monitor, for example, you're going to get a list of different options. Just make sure you look up and go and you connect to the correct.
Okay.
All right. Any questions? Okay, right. So again, welcome. Holy Names University HyFlex Technology. Today, we're really going to focus on the hardware aspect of what we have to offer to faculty who want to teach in the HyFlex modality. So Kenny, off the bat, what are you seeing pop up on the screen right now? Any type of devices, give it umbrella terms or everything.
Okay, like iPads, I'm seeing a wireless / wire-in headset, I'm seeing a like clip-in headset, a like standing mic, and then I don't know, that camera there has also like a speaker connected to it. It looks like a kind of a laptop connected, like camera, maybe microphone.
Sure. Everything right up, nail. You hit it with a nail. So yes, very good. And then all of these devices here are what we have to sort of talk about, including more. And so everything here can be put into two categories: audio and video. And again, with the HyFlex technology, sort of balancing the act of between the hardware of audio and video, that's what's going to make the experience for remote students and in-person students better. So if we have this knowledge and we offer it to our students, that's what's going to make the experience fun. So let's go ahead and start with audio. And when we talk about audio, we have inputs and we have outputs. Ichi, can you please read this for inputs?
Audio input devices allow a user to send audio signals to a computer for processing, recording, or carrying out comments.
Very good. Thank you very much. And so to start with the audio input aspect of it all, we go ahead and start with something that we're very familiar with, which is our own personal laptops. right? So here on the screen is just an image to have a Windows computer and a MacBook, very popular machines. The pros and cons of using your personal laptop as a audio input device. Pros, there's no additional equipment required and there's minimal technical issues. As mentioned, a lot of faculty are coming back to campus, so we're pretty much used to using Zoom and the Zoom microphone, which is attached to our computer. Cons, however, that there's limited audio quality control, and then in-person participant students who are sitting further away from the laptop may not be able to hear clearly than remote. So if we're using our laptop, instructor laptop, as the primary microphone, which is most likely the case, if you're in a classroom where we have students all the way in the back, and let's just say, for example, the computer is not the most up to date, or it doesn't have a really nice microphone, and it has some debris in the way, the microphone may or may not pick it up. And so how do we overcome this? Something or another. We have this Blue Yeti microphone. And this Blue Yeti microphone is actually right there. It's connected at the moment to my computer, and it's picking up everything that we've talked about so far. And so the benefits, pros and cons of a microphone like this. Pros, on-device audio quality controls to adjust sensitivity and direction. Able to capture more audio around the room. And the microphone may be placed further away and still connected to instructor computer with a USB extension. So the connect wire that you see right now at the moment is the one that it came. We purchased this 20-foot. So if you are ever we had another instructor on Friday. He teaches in the, what's it called, the big theater down there? Not down there. The black box room, whatever that is. So you know, that's a huge room. And so if you are having some sort of student engagement, some activity, and you want to put the microphone, let's just say smack in the middle. And we don't want to have the computer in the middle. We can definitely
What's the range that this can pick up? Would you say? Like sitting right there, what's the range?
Well, that's a tricky question because for example, I speak loudly. So, but if I'm speaking a little bit more on the soft side, you'll get it's case by case.
Yeah.
So it's kind of experimenting with it. If you are interested in doing a HyFlex modality course, and you're interested in not even just HyFlex modality, if you just want to use it just in general, it's definitely available for that. Something I've been sort of sparking ideas. If you just want to start off your semester with including some sort of podcast, go ahead and just check it out for that. And then now you can include this file for your students on campus. Right? Yes.
Kevin, I just want to add that we use that microphone in the classroom as big as the one in 6.5 by 3.4.
Okay.
And it is able to capture the whole class.
Oh.
So I don't know the exact range, but I think it works in that big classroom.
Good to know. I mean, that's like big and you just kind of teach a way that you teach, and you can just know that your students online are going to be able to hear it.
Yeah.
But still, as we cover it in the HyFlex one workshop, just to be safe, if we still want to encourage instructor to repeat what your in-person students say in the class before answering. So just to make sure your remote students hear that.
Right. Yeah, so you'll see right now, it's like jokingly, that noise that you hear out there, I'll try my best to sort of kind of make it go away with post-production, but you will hear that.
Yeah.
Definitely. And it can be very sensitive. And I'll talk about that more actually right now. But in addition, yes, you can actually connect a headset to that, and then you get immediate feedback. You can hear yourself. It's kind of cool. We can try it out soon. And we haven't actually talked this, but these wireless microphones here, if you want to go the wireless route, you don't want to use with that. These are Rode Wireless 2 microphones. And so what this does is this is the receiver, and there's two microphones. You don't have to use both. You can only use one if you'd like. And then so that one you're really free to go around wherever you'd like. And then so the receiver connects via an aux cable to your computer. That stays there. And I think then now we can get into the range. I believe it's about like 100 feet.
Do you keep it in one place or you hold it?
You can. It has little.
Oh, okay.
Little.
Like,
You can clip it onto your person, wherever it is, and then go that route. And so it does work quite well. Zoom automatically notices it. Yeah. So staying on the topic of the Blue Yeti, on the back, this is actually what you're seeing right now. On the back, you have two options, gain and pattern. Kenny, have you heard of gain before? Heard this term. So gain, I think of it as sensitivity. The less gain it has, the more sensitive that the microphone becomes. And if you put it clockwise, the more gain it has, the more background noise that it's suppressing. So if you are a podcast listener, and you'll always hear different sort of tones, different sounds within the podcaster. These podcasters are definitely in a high gain because you can hear it. You can definitely hear their voices. It's only the voice. But over here at the bottom, we have different patterns. What's special about this microphone here is that you're able to select which pattern you're going for. And so these patterns have 4 names. We have cardioid mode, stereo mode, omnidirectional mode, and bidirectional. And Kenny, just off of that, which mode do you think we're in right now? Maybe based just on the images?
Omnidirectional.
We are correct. Yes, we are in omnidirectional mode. This means that all the mics 360 around the microphone right now are active. So it doesn't matter really where we place it. I'm assuming this is actually the mode that most faculty will use at all times. Bidirectional is if we're having some sort of interview, right? Some conversation. Stereo mode, this one's interesting. ASMR, I forget what it stands for. I know what it is, but what's special about this one is right now on the microphone, I'm speaking to the left side of it. So if you do have headphones on.
ASMR videos are things like cooking and
Yeah,
sounds
exactly.
and yeah,
Yes.
the things that like you're catching the kind of like they're usually not as loud, but you're wanting to accentuate.
Yes, yeah, and activates those sensitive
Yeah.
hearing sensitive everything. And so right now I'm to the left of the microphone. And so if you, and again, in post-production, because I was recording, it's in that stereo mode, the microphone, and if you have a headset on, for example, you're gonna hear me on the left side of the ear. If I move to the right side, then I move to the right.
Huh.
Yeah, so you have that option as well. And then cardioid, that's like a regular Zoom class. If you have it on your own desk at home or in the office, you would turn this on so that if somebody happens to walk by, hey, Kenny, and the gain is all the way up, you're really gonna hear them, depends on how loud they are, but this only picks up the voice. So you have all these different options. With that said, let's play a little game called What Pattern Is It? So here, just a quick look again. We can just go ahead and call 1, 2, 3, 4. And so in this example here, this is a regular class discussion per se. Which mode, 1, 2, 3, 4 are the names, would we use here?
The
Very good, right? The complete 360 there. So omnidirectional. Next example, here's a little interview or discussion.
click the figure 8 on the bottom and about dual conversation.
You got it, yes. So it's a little tricky, right? You might want to follow the second one or the fourth one. But yeah, this is the bidirectional one there, not stereo, just so that it picks up our conversation more equally. It's very good. 2 out of 2. And now let's move on to output. So those are the options. You have your laptop microphone to pick up, and we have the Blue Yeti. I didn't really put this up here. Maybe a little bit more hard to use in different scenarios, but we do plan to get more Blue Yeti. That's what we covered up.
What do you have most of right now? Like equipment wise?
We're really experimenting. This is like the first step. And what we get, so with demand, we'll supply.
Okay.
But I have a lot of experience with the Blue Yeti. This is, I love it. It's pretty much like a gold standard. Yeah, the Blue Yeti microphone. And so this is just extra special kit.
Yeah.
For sure, but everything's available. But with these kits that we'll talk about as well, we intend to use Blue Yeti. Just because a lot of options.
Yeah.
So now, yeah, anything else? Okay. So moving on to audio output, that Kenny, if you may.
Audio output refers to an audio signal driven out from one device to another device's audio input. This can either be done via cable or wireless connection.
Very good. Thank you. And so now again, starting off with your laptop, what we're used to. If we're using our personal laptop as an audio output signal, pros and cons, no additional equipment required, minimal technical issues. Cons, however, loudness and clarity may be more limiting depending on existing classroom technology. So not all classrooms here are built the same. This classroom, as we mentioned earlier, the one that was on the image at the very beginning, that one's extra special because we have actually maybe 5 or 6 different options to connect to as a speaker. And
So waiting.
yeah, so Heafey 655, 656. And so that one has a lot of different options. In this classroom here, I can see the speakers up here. I have my computer, and then this monitor has 3.
Mhm.
Yeah. So using the other classroom as an example, same as here, right? We have these 2 classroom speakers. And so if you do want to connect and use these classroom speakers, there does a PDF does exist. If you have you seen this before?
I think so.
Yeah, so it does exist online somewhere if you'd like to. I'm not going to go through it, but it exists so that you're able to connect to any device, any classroom speakers that are on campus. If you see them, and then so this little panel is this panel here. Yeah. So if the classroom has this, then these are the instructions to follow. Okay. And so we're going back to what happened at the very beginning when we first connected to the Zoom session. What happened?
The feedback, because they were both on, the speakers are on.
Correct. So then we
There's
had the feedback,
echoes.
there was echo, people are uncomfortable, what's going on, right? And so it makes it really hard to hear what's going on in the classroom for the remotes and in-person students. So how can we overcome this echoing? You did it, you actually, like I said, you're extra prepared with the headphones. So CETL also does provide these headphones right here. We have 24 of them. And so we do, for those, we do have quite a lot to start with, right? And so the benefits of using headphones in the class, if the students are bringing in their devices, which they're highly encouraged, if they don't bring their devices, they don't have one, we also supply those iPads. And so these iPads are the ones that still have the aux input. And so pros and cons of using headphones, it will prevent echoing the class amongst other devices. In-person students will be able to communicate with remote participants much clearer. Let's say if you break them out into like Zoom breakout rooms. It has a built-in microphone and it reduces distraction for in-person participants. Cons, additional equipment needed to be checked out, so you may encounter some additional technical difficulties at first. All it is really, this device is more on the simpler side because as soon as you plug it in, you will be able to hear it, right? And so with that said, I think this one I can show, right? It won't show up on the Zoom, but you can see it's here. If I go ahead and connect this to my computer, this one, yeah. So at the moment, I'm going in the top in the menu bar. Right now, it's connected to Heafey 663. As soon as I connect this headphone jack to my computer, you'll see external, and it automatically switched, right? And so now within Zoom, if I go to my microphone options and then that little drop down list, notice that I have to switch the speaker. It's still set to my MacBook speakers, but now I have the option to switch it to my external headphones. So if you do have that, if you run into that situation where there's still echo in the classroom, even though the students have connected to the headset to their computers, just make sure that this is how we then overcome it as well.
On their computers.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the iPad, it's actually easier. It should automatically do the adjustment. It's just that I have so many devices currently connected to this. That's why it's sort of like, which one do you want?
So I was thinking, just like me already thinking about how I would orient a class, it would be like, before you log into Zoom, plug in your headphones,
Yeah.
like, kind of things like that to be able to prep for minimal.
Yeah, and we're looking for that. So if there are situations, I was like, oh, I wish some sort of poster or something that we could design for you too. Take note of it, let us know. And so that could not just benefit you, but everybody.
Also, not students wouldn't necessarily link into this unless we needed them to connect with their classmates in that moment, or like, I don't know, so you're doing like pair work or a poll or something like that, and you want every single student to participate, one's in the classroom as well as one's in the room. That would be that situation, right?
Yeah. Correct.
So the policy right now is we encourage in-person students to bring personal device, but it's not required.
Okay.
But I think it's important for faculty to communicate with their student. If you're planning some class activity for a specific session, that student can really benefit from having their own personal device.
Yeah.
You can communicate that in advance with your student.
I think what I'll, as I'm kind of thinking about my class, I'm thinking that I'll probably still check out some iPads just in case. students did forgot their laptop or they were like, oh, I'm working off my desk, whatever the case may be, and then just have like 3 or something available. And so then you can ensure that everyone.
Students can even share a laptop device, like as a small group.
Yeah.
So that will work well.
So yeah, those are the headphones. And again, we have a lot of them. So yeah, we would reach out to you, do the checkout form for them, just like any other device. We would have to verify how many we have in stock and then just get back to them. It's just communication at that point. We want the interest. And so in the end, with the headphones on in the class in this HyFlex modality, whether you are remote or in person, we're just having a much better experience.
My other question is, since just like around scheduling, because most of our classes are in the evening. So I don't know about students' accessibility to being able to be available for me to like pick up gear and all this stuff. Like, how would that work? How would that work?
I have thoughts.
We haven't planned for that, but I think, so that's very important for us to know in advance. So we can request to us in advance, so we can probably, I don't know.
It's just extra planning. Let's just say if you do have an evening class and let's just say, I really cannot be here for that situation, that moment, then we could arrange a prior time where you can pick it up. And then we would just block it off on the calendar because it's not available.
Yeah.
So it's just pre-planning, extra pre-planning. Yeah. So testing. Actually, I already gave you the demonstration with the headphones, and the other ones are actually pretty similar as well. If we go with the Yeti, I just like the name Yeti as well. Yes, you can still see it up here. When you are in the microphone options here, and you do that drop-down list, notice that the microphone is set to Yeti stereo microphone. And very, very important. On the first workshop, actually, there's a nice red button right here. And when it's not blinking, that means it is on. You got that?
If it's blinking, you can have your remote student won't be
Yeah. So even though it's checked, it doesn't tell you.
Yeah.
So that's something extra just to keep in mind. But again, that's what we mean by the cons. Like there's maybe some technical difficulties at first. The more you check it out, the more experienced you become, you'll know. Yeah. So to connect the Yeti, bada bing, bada boom, make sure you're in the microphone drop down list, Yeti. It's also down here. It can also, there it is. You can also use the Yeti as a speaker. It doesn't really make too much sense at first because of course it's a microphone, but one of the additional features of this microphone, why I love it so much, I taught ESL, right? And so when I teach ESL, it's very important for me to be able to hear the students very well when they're speaking, for example, and those type of activities. So when we connect at the very bottom of this, I don't have a picture of that, but at the bottom of this, can you see? There's an audio jack, just like on your computer. So long as you have a headphone device that has one of these, a regular audio jack, you can actually connect it to the bottom. And so now the speaker, I have the headphones put on my head, and then for my speaker, I would select Yeti stereo. And so now I can hear through my headset. Yeah. The best of that is that not only do you hear what you would hear regularly on your computer, you also hear your voice. And so that may or may not be.
That's challenging.
There's no latency though. It's immediate. You hear it as you speak.
Got it.
So this is that's why I said it's like the gold standard. Whether you're teaching, whether you're podcasting, whether you're doing some new venture, it just has those features. Yeah. So, and it's also great because if it's on. All of the features. Okay, so let me turn this off.
See why a lot of podcasters use it.
Yeah. And so let me switch back to here. And then share.
And then for equipment, do I have to rent and return every time? Or because I also acknowledge that like there's only limited equipment, so probably I'm going to use it. But is there like what if it's like the whole semester? Like if I'm teaching the whole semester, it seems like really expensive to have to return and bring back every time.
unfortunately, we only have limited quantity available at the moment. And also because spring is only our very first semester. Rolling it out, right? So hopefully we will have more kids.
Okay.
Moving forward, depending on how many faculty are willing to offer this course format, and because this is really new, and also because this requires faculty to be on site. Not all faculty are interested in this, because it seems to pose some limitation. Not as flexible for our faculty. So we are still figuring this out as we moving forward. And so right now we might have to ask faculty to return it back to the office so other faculty can also check it out.
So just a little recap here. Just make sure you're in the correct setting. Yeti is Yeti, and depending on the classroom you're in, if you'd like to use your speakers on your personal device or the classroom speakers, make sure that that's set for the microphone as well. In the big classroom or in this classroom, just replace the 655, 656 with 663, which we're in right now.
When it's 655, 656, I know that in the classroom there's dual screen. Does it mirror the same thing on both screens, or are they doing separate?
Mirrors.
Okay.
So both act as one.
Okay.
So curveball. So when you connect to a device, a monitor like this, you can mirror your device or you can use it as an external display. If you mirror it, what you see is what you get. However, if you use it as an external display, that's going to be one device. Your personal laptop is one, and then the monitors are one. Even though there's two, it's still one.
Okay.
And the headsets, it's just called external headphone. External headphone. Audio, that's audio inputs, audio outputs. Very good. Let's move forward to the video portion. So, Zoom University. A lot of us, what we've been doing for the past year, 2 years, 3 years. A lot of time on Zoom, Google Hangouts, whatever it may be, FaceTime. And so this is what we're sort of, used to. How can we, what kind of technology do we have? What are we used to in order to implement that into our HyFlex modality course? Like we started with the audio, let's go ahead and start that with the video with our personal device. This is a laptop webcam. So when you use your laptop webcam, pros and cons, no setup necessary, no additional equipment required. Cons, however, is that you're limited to movement and quality control, and you're maybe unable to zoom into a particular area. In contrast to what we're about to show you here. So your laptop right now sort of stays there, right? In one location. You mentioned earlier towards the beginning, before we started, that you like to move around. So do I. I like to move around as well. And so if you do have that option where you don't use these, the different video cameras, then basically we won't ever be able to see it, right? And so this camera here is one that lives on top of an 80-inch monitor, and that's currently in our office at the moment. That monitor is so large, we didn't wheel it in here in order to substitute that. We'll talk about the sort of HyFlex kit that we intend to have. Okay, but this webcam, it's a great webcam. It's really, really good. This is the sort of view. It's really wide angle. And so if this is placed on the side of the classroom right next door. And so this is what you're going to see, right? Really high quality, and the speakers and microphones that are built in are quite great as well. I actually like that speaker better than the classroom speaker. It's a great device. And so when we use this, pros and cons, super wide angle, you're able to capture more of the classroom. A very high quality image output. The built-in speakers are quite loud and clear. And then the remote grid view on Zoom. Oops, let me go back one. Cons, however, it may not be removed from the top of the new line monitor because of the cost, because of the size of the monitor. We really intend to use this devices just on this floor. Right? It's huge. Additional equipment required, we'd have to check it out. And then the placement of monitor webcam may not be suitable in all classrooms on this board. Case in point, right? If you had this right now, I wouldn't really even know where to put it.
Right.
Just because of the sheer size. And so when we're in Zoom, and let's say you are teaching that classroom, or the one at the very end of this hall, actually, that one's large enough as well. When we have it and use it in grid view, we had something like this where our students were remote. We can see the classroom, we can highlight it, and then so we can see the group and the class at the same time. This is something that was brought up during our focus group. Yeah, the remote students wanted to see the students in person.
Sure.
Yeah, so.
So it also applies to those in-person students who didn't, okay, so in our focus group meeting last fall, some faculty who were in the classroom as in-person students, they didn't bring their personal device, and so that they couldn't see the remote student. So they feel disconnected with their remote peers. So that's why that's an option to address that issue. So if you have an additional display, a touch screen, you can use that as a monitor to show your remote student
So if that,
your in-person.
just for clarification, so that monitor shows this. No,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
monitor.
But in the end, actually what we would do, so when we have the options, there's actually 3 different options when we go into full screen view. When you have this sort of arrangement, what you can do, and it's actually on, is it on your device? We put it, I'm pretty sure it's on yours too. We made the shared screen smaller so that we can just see the grid view. Or no, it's on yours too. Sorry.
So this is what it goes
Yeah.
for the monitor in the class.
So this little menu bar here, you want to use, Yeah. yes. And then there's like, if you really want to get into it, command comma, setting system preferences for Zoom. And then in that very first general tab, there's an option that says use dual monitor, correct? Yeah, if we use dual monitor setting, then we can have the option to move the grid view onto another monitor. It's really nifty. It's just classroom and like the Zoom control. Yeah, being familiar with the different options and then what you would like to do with them. But this is just a 50-50. Yeah. And in addition to that, so this right here is called the ops box camera. And so if we are not able to accommodate you, you're not on this floor or in that classroom there, we are thinking about having this HyFlex kit. And this ops box camera, do you see it, Kitty? It's somewhere in this room. It's not behind you.
Oh, no.
No, it's right there.
Oh,
Right there. That's the top of this tripod here, connected to it. So this outboard camera, we're assuming if you check that with the tripod, it doesn't have to, because it's on, you can actually just have it on this work sit desk right here and just leave it on the side there. It's really up to you. But the tripod would be included just to give you that extra option to give you height. Yeah.
This will be the video, even for the process.
and it follows you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has gesture controls. It activates.
Yeah.
So this outboard camera on the tripod, you can make it really tall, you can make it wherever you'd like to place it actually. And so in the other classroom, this is the sort of quality that you're going to see, and something special about this camera as well, just like the other webcam that we showed you earlier, you can actually zoom in. So this picture here is actually a zoomed in 2x. That's the maximum of this image right here. So basically all I did, I went to the app, which I'll show you right now, and I zoomed in all the way, and then I go like this. So you can then zoom into different little parts of the classroom. And so I did mention that app. And then, so in that app, it's a free application. We have it installed on our machines. And so if you do check out that HyFlex kit, it will just be included. And so what do we see here in the Alphabot TinyCam application? So long as the camera is connected via the cable to your computer, it'll notice it, it'll connect. And then right here, we have the different manual movement. So I'll give you a live demonstration actually. So you can look at the screen, you can look at the camera actually, because it will move. And can you see this screen here?
Yeah.
You can see it on your device, this?
Even the zone.
No, this.
Yeah.
The app? Okay, very good. So if you focus, it can be on my screen or on your screen. Over here, this is where it says Kevin Zaragoza. I'm going to go ahead and move it. There we go. So we can really go ahead and just preset it however we'd like before class begins. right? And so we have those different features there. Something neat about this device here. You cannot do that on your own regular laptop, right? And then just to give you an example of the zoom, it'll go right into teaching. There it is. Okay. And that's basically it. Being able to move it and zoom in, that's what we really want to, giving the instructor that feature.
And the reality is when we're teaching, we're not going to be doing. I mean, maybe, but I'm not going to be
Right.
teaching, managing 2 classrooms, changing the view. You know, like
Yeah.
I'm not actually realistically going to be able to do that.
Mhm.
Yeah, just because
And-
there's so many moving parts
Right.
that I know myself that I'm not going to go over there. Let me gimbal this.
Yeah.
You know, it's not going to happen.
So absolutely, great points. When we do get the interests from faculty that they want to check this stuff out from us, we can go ahead and do like a consultation. We'll go through your lesson plan, your curriculum, at what points when you have your student activity, for example, where do you want the camera placed? And it's really trial and error. It may not work so well the first time, but the second time around, you can do another view.
And Kevin, actually, you can mention the preset position.
Right, oh yeah, presets. So we would move it at a certain point, preset it to there. So let's just say group 1 is here, group 2 is in that corner, group 3 is in that corner. We can just go add, and get 3 presets. Click, group 1 presents, it's here. Click, group 2 presents, and move there. So on and so forth. Well, one more example.
Like, yeah, okay, I see how that would be used then in like a group learning environment.
Yeah.
What you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because I was like thinking initially like manually doing that, just
Yeah. Most of the time, hopefully it's a one-time setup. So at the very beginning, we'll just set it up and it won't really move. But if you just do want to go to that, not necessarily extra mile, because you can always just pick up the tripod and move it, right?
Yeah.
This is just that extra feature. Yeah.
But then not really, because it's connected to it's wired in, so it's not like I can just pick up and move it.
Hey, we have to be very careful.
Right.
Yeah. Pros and cons. Features auto tracking and auto framing in high resolution. We have that gesture control. It's included that Alva TinyCam app can be installed on the device, and it can be mounted on a tripod. It can be used on instructor webcam or class view. In this situation here, my Zoom camera is just set to the Alva camera because I'm not even there. Right, we just want to face the students. Cons: additional equipment needed to be checked out. So it requires USB input. This MacBook here, same as teaching, same as mine, it's just USB-C. And so we also include different adapters. The one that's connected is actually the one that we provide there. The additional one is connected to the MacBook back there. So if you don't have an adapter, you just need an additional one. We also have those USB-C to USB. Computer software required, but that's not really a huge deal because we would, of course, have it already ready. So neat bar. So this neat bar here, this is the feature that's in that specific classroom. Where's the other one? Remember? There's one more somewhere. I think the president has it.
Is it like saved? Like it's saved there? It's saved.
It lives there, yeah.
Okay.
It lives there and it's mounted on top of one of the monitors. So it's not really for moving around. And so with this neat bar here, it's a really nice webcam and speaker and microphone. This is it right here. And if you're facing the monitors, it's on the right one at the moment. We actually think we will move it to the left one though, because yes, I have it here. If we move it to the left one, the classroom will be just a little bit more central. Yeah. So this is what it looks like at the moment. As soon as you turn it on and then you set the zoom camera to the default. This is what you're gonna see. Really high, not much higher, but a little bit higher than the monitor. And here's the monitor. So earlier we just saw the webcam. Here's the monitor. It's a touchscreen.
So you can use either the beat bar or the monitor with the screen.
Actually, true or not, you can use. Can we check out more than one camera?
You mean so for the knee bar, it's only in the 655, 656.
Right.
So you don't need to check out, it's always there.
That's one of the pros.
Yeah.
So for the classroom, then you will be able to use it. However, we also provide the Awesome.
the camcorder.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so there could be multiple angles, yeah, for sure. This is just the one that the neat bar provides.
Right.
But just like everything else we mentioned that you can check out, it does have manual controls. I won't go through everything, but just some of the more interesting or more useful specifications of the neat bar. Really wide angle as well. It has a built-in microphones and a really good speaker. So if you want to use that instead of the classroom speakers, instead of your personal laptop and anything else, you can have that option as well. And another kind of feature of the neat bar, it can track you. So as you move across the room, it can track you. It'll zoom in, crop the image, and then just following around. Something else that it does, say you are in this scenario here, where one person's on there, sort of like maybe a panel interview. And so you're here on the other side. These are the three folks that you see. And so the neat bar can actually recognize the individuals up to 4 and creates one view in your Zoom gallery. Yeah, so extra little feature that we can use. And you can turn it on and off actually if you don't want to just not use it. So pros and cons of using the neat bar. It's a classroom feature, so there's no checkout required. So, but if you would need any assistance in learning how to connect it or anything like that, then we would talk to that. But the device joins as a guest into your Zoom session, just like the camcorder in the back is in the Zoom session at the moment. It's a guest. It has that smart gallery feature, which leverages AI to take a single camera view into multiple people, and separate device controls for audio and video. Cons, please say that right earlier to make sure that the neat bar is connected properly. Because of the network settings and everything, it's a very special device, and so we need to make sure that it's properly connected to it joins properly and that it's connected to the internet properly, because we have run into some issues.
What's
So
that classroom monitor with the soundbar on top of it? What's that called?
what's the monitor called?
Yeah, it's like you probably just a link into it. What is the name?
Oh, Heafey 65565.
Oh.
Yeah, I can show you.
What about both of them? It's not the main monitor, but the rolling monitor.
Oh, I don't know. No.
Oh.
Yeah, but if it's a roll-in one.
The big line. Oh, we call it New Line.
Oh, ours. Oh, sorry. I'm thinking about the one like down the hall. Yeah, it's called New Line. Yeah. Thank you. So let me move forward here. Testing. So with the Logitech webcam, if you are using that and you're using the webcam as a video device, well, on that computer we would select Logitech Meetup. That's the name of this webcam. And if we are using the Osbot tiny camera instead of using your FaceTime HD camera, which is specific to this one, or other MacBooks, you would select Osbot. And then if you're using the neat bar, again, this one joins as a guest. It's all wireless, actually. There's a little tablet that's on a desk that's right in front of that monitor. And if we zoom into those options there, just like the Osbot tiny cam application that I showed you here earlier, you can also move it around from here. Yeah. Then that auto framing option, you may or may not like it, where it kind of partitions the video. You can turn that off. You don't have to use it. Okay, so that is audio and video. This is what we had to offer. We didn't go through all of the other accessories as well. We'll talk about that at the very end. However, thoughts, comments?
No.
No?
Yeah.
All right, so moving forward now, consider this, now what, right? And so when we have our classrooms, Kenny, in your classroom, do you use whiteboard?
I can, not always though. I haven't really been using one for too much.
Okay. So if we are interested in doing whiteboard activities, how can we accommodate our remote students and in-person students? Of course, in this classroom over here, we just also purchased 6 whiteboards. And so there's 6 desks that are in the classroom. There's 6 whiteboards, and we have a set of markers and erasers. So how can we accommodate the students who are not with us live, right? And so if you do use the big monitor that we mentioned earlier, you can use that as a digital whiteboard. You can share the screen on there and then use the Zoom whiteboard feature for that, right? But let's say you're not in this classroom, you cannot check this out. And so you're in another classroom, what do? Fonts. How would we have a digital whiteboard?
We use the whiteboard in the classroom if there's one.
Yeah.
And then how should we configure our camera?
Right.
So our remote student will be able to see.
Right, I mean, I guess like your hotspot.
So if you still just want to use the whiteboard, of course, we can use the marker, we can use the eraser, and the object would just need to be reconfigured in some way to better make sure that everything is moving correctly. So yeah, very good. What's another option? It's quite a few, but maybe 2 or 3 main ones.
I'm not sure.
Dun, 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 dun.
Go ahead.
So iPads, right? So when we are in the classroom and we don't have the big digital whiteboard, yeah, so we have the
Right, draw and use what you want. As the shit.
correct. And so this, I'll just talk loudly so it picks it up. But hey, here's the iPad, and to screen mirror on an iPad. We've done that before.
No,
So in the top right, go ahead and scroll down. Swipe down, sorry, from the top right. You'll get the control center options. And this one here, yep, you got it.
oh, I guess I have done it. I've done it on my TV.
Yep,
Same thing.
there you go. So in order to connect, we disconnect. So let me go ahead and disconnect from here. So Kenny, you should see now Heafey 663. That's correct. It should give you that code. We put in the code. Similar. Yeah. So it'll take a second. Here's the silence for you. Very good. So yeah, the notes bar is here already. And so now we have the notes within the iPad. Other side works better. Oh, the silence. Yeah. And so just draw anything, write anything, Kenny, just to give us a quick example. Very good. Thank you very much. And so we have this here as well for a digital whiteboard exercise, right? And so if you want to go even further and allow, and we would also, if you want other students to join in, you can also check out more items. They can have a shared document that lives on OneDrive or Google Drive, or if you know how to use the Apple ecosystem, everybody's on an iCloud account. Maybe not encouraged unless you really know how to just navigate the iCloud, right? But Google Drive and OneDrive is what we're mostly used to, and this is.
And just to add that, because I'm the co-host, I just spotlight. If you're having whiteboard activity, you can spotlight the specific display for your remote student to be able to see what's written on the whiteboard.
I wonder remote students, if you're sharing screen to the Zoom, wouldn't they see it on here anyways?
No, because this
Oh.
doesn't really join your Zoom session.
So we could join as a guest on those as well.
Got it.
Yeah.
So we are actually showing our iPad, through the rear camera.
Okay, so there, this.
That's a great point, actually, yeah. So this is just sort of the first example that I thought of. Now, if you really just want to do it, I don't want to say correctly, but this is what I would, just to make things work all cohesively. So within, let me go ahead and disconnect. Just like you connected, we disconnect that same option. And so now we're here. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. And so now we're back in this view, I hope. Heafey 663. Like 5197. We've gotten the question before, does the code always change? Yes, it does. And so, connecting. If we would like to go ahead and use the iPad and just everything is sort of, we share on the iPad what we see on here. This is actually a new feature, not a new feature of Zoom, but we haven't really talked about this in this workshop. And so just like you share a display, up here at the top, we would select new share. And then here you have two options to share to an iPhone, iPad via AirPlay or via cable. AirPlay, we select that. You can go ahead and share. And so now we just follow the instructions that are on the screen here. So long as it's on the same network, we can go ahead and go swipe down from the top right of our iPad
just like, well, actually, I should show you. Just like we did, screen share here, and then we scroll down, and then we just select Zoom, kind of like, okay, it would be your computer. Boom. Unable to connect, how come? No, I think there is actually a little, there's something that needs to be installed, and because I have never used this one with it, it won't, I don't think it'll be able to do it. But we can definitely try that later on. I need to install something. And I don't have a cable with me right now. But yeah, if everything would work correctly, what I would draw here, then I can share this device on here, and then everybody would see.
And then, yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me, like to do it that way initially.
Yes.
Because everybody would see classroom students as well as students on Zoom, right?
Yes. So the option we would select once we do the new share, then we can share that window for the iPad.
Oh, okay.
And when we're done, it would become here another option to select the iPad as a window to share. And so now we just have to keep in mind whatever this, maybe the iPad's more of a personal device. So whatever you see or show here, just keep that in mind that it's going to reflect that.
Versus having it on this big screen. Oh, well, it's still show up on this big screen, right?
Yes. Yep. So sorry about that. I didn't encounter something new that we've tried out, but we'll definitely have it down for the next demo because it is quite cool when everything just works.
Yeah.
So let me go ahead and just share this again. But again, something we strive for, just letting faculty know what's possible, what exists with what we have to offer, and then just starting really.
Yeah.
So that's there. On our CTL SharePoint slides, let me make sure that that's being projected correctly. On our CTL SharePoint sites, there does exist many different PDF templates. So if you'd like to go ahead and check that out, so we can definitely provide you a link to that. And so these templates are PDF. They can definitely be adjusted. They were created first within Word. And so if you want to edit them further, we can definitely share the Word documents with you. But these PDFs, they're very general and they're made for you to sort of use them in the classroom for different activities. And there's 20 to 30 different templates for you. And so use them as you see best. They're sort of like fill in the void templates. And so when we use the technology and everything is working, the students are on iPad, we're on an iPad, it can be a very collaborative environment. Yeah, here are the iPads.
I'm curious about these PDFs. So like, what would you, example of how you would use it?
So for example, in an English class, right, we have this, sorry, I don't have it all the way up, but there's 6 circles, and then in the middle, there's a prompt. Right, what did you do to something?
I want to add on, this is not that related to HyFlex, but it's a bit
okay.
How we can use it.
Yeah.
How can we use the technology in HyFlex with what, well, some other features? Yeah. Any other questions? And so here are iPads available for checkouts. They all have cases like this now, so for extra protection. And we have come across a situation as well where we got the message, hey, I'm wearing a mask. I don't think my voice can be heard. It's not loud enough. And so we all have a wired and a wireless voice amplifier available for checkout as well. This is the speaker. So you attach that to your, whatever it may be, and then the headset is either wireless or wired. And so you turn it on, and so yeah, that's exactly what.
It's hard to actually try it out. So for this one, basically just turn it on. This is a microphone.
Just a speaker, really.
Oh.
I mean, this is a microphone for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but ultimately, what's going to be heard is what's picked up on this one.
Hello. So you can adjust your volume here. Hello. Good morning, everyone. So for those who still feel more comfortable wearing masks,
Yeah.
it will amplify the volume.
Yeah.
This is specifically for instructor.
Yeah.
Not for students. Got it. So it's actually very easy to use, just make sure you turn on both.
Yeah.
And then that's it.
Okay. I don't think that would be a problem.
Really, you speak loud, huh?
I think so.
So yeah, but I mean, it exists, it's there, and so if you ever run, or you know of somebody, right? You're here, thank you for coming, whatnot. So if you hear that, oh, seagull,
Yeah.
we have this.
More soft spoken.
Right. So this is here, and we have two, and if more I need to have it in ground.
Can I get a charger for my laptop?
Sure.
It's having a headphone.
Oh, the thing with this classroom, we found there's only one outlet in the front of the room, and one outlet in the back of the room. We were just complaining about this bad idea. What if students need to charge them?
Or you need to bring, or you need an extension cord.
Long enough
To do.
I just.
So it has to be really long.
Yeah.
I mean, I have it here.
Oh!
But I don't have it. Let's
Like faulty, kind of.
let me grab it. Reaching that laptop, we're good. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't bring it from my room.
Maybe
From
3 seconds.
the office.
Have a long one. So this one, that one's the,
So it's one of the little,
does not have enough. No, there's nothing there.
one, so it's only one in the middle and
In
one on the
the
front.
front, in the back, and
Oh.
one on the left.
And it's that one all the way over there.
Yeah, that's the only one in the front.
Oh. I've come across this issue in other classes too. Yeah. Where I'm like searching for the outlet, you know, and then. Well, we need this, Kevin. Let's see how that works.
I have one.
Is that long enough? But maybe you can touch that, Maybe that works. Yeah. It doesn't let it block. Oh,
I can't even.
that's why I was like, I think it's faulty. Like,
It's just protected.
I've come across like, in some of the other
Oh my god, it's not functional.
Yeah,
I cannot, yeah. I don't know what's happening.
Luckily, the one on the back works, so that one,
Yeah.
I didn't even try that.
I don't know that too, actually, outlet.
Yeah.
That don't function.
Yeah, so, but even like this, I mean, even this is a great example because
Yeah.
when students bring their own devices, let's say they're not powered on.
Yeah.
What do we run into? Then we get into sharing is caring.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I think like some of the things. I'm also thinking about like in orientation, like, oh, instead of an announcement, like make sure you bring your laptop, make sure you bring a charger, if you can have an extension cord, that might be helpful, but I think that we should provide that.
Yeah.
Or I need to think about an extension cord with multiple ports, since we need to plug in, and then like where they can sit in the classroom, because then they
Right.
might end up clustering
Yeah.
in one space because
Correct.
outlet issues. My class is 2.5 hours. They're all 2.5 hours. So I'm going to have I'm gonna have a power issue.
Yeah, it's tough, for sure.
So
So,
versus like the hour classes, 50-minute classes, we do once a week, 2.5 hour classes, we're gonna have power issues, so.
Like-
Now we hear from you, we can definitely bring
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
even here, I use this connected to, the extension is connected to an extension.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Be long enough.
we get days change.
Yeah, I mean, and I think maybe assessing, because I've come across this issue in multiple classes, something running the power issue, but that was like for me, my students didn't even have their laptops, so I was talking about like, oh, only place where I could sit, and I'm only managing one.
Correct.
So I can't even imagine if I have 5 students, let alone
Yeah.
10 students, because my fall class will have 20, almost 27 students in the full class. However, I'm sure at least half of them won't be coming with me. And then that's gonna be my hybrid pseudo HyFlex like
Uh-huh.
challenge for say like 7 to 10 students, I want to think about, well, how are they going to chart up?
Correct.
If there's that many.
So yeah, we could definitely work on, think of some idea, know which classroom it is specifically, take a visit.
Hopefully I get 6 by 5. But no,
There's
so
so-
big, so.
What, in that classroom, there's no fault power outlets. There's maybe 2 on, maybe 5 or 6,
Extension.
We'll still need extension.
Yeah.
but there's just more options.
No, it's not hybrid. Yeah. Online, and then I was going to request, I was gonna submit to request a classroom that I could use during that time. That I would need, I mean, I guess I could submit the request for a specific classroom, but I don't know if it's available. So it's probably-
It will be easier if you only request
6 by 5, 6 by 5.
a few sessions, but not 16 sessions.
Oh, yeah, it's like 3. So, do you have a list of which classes have been approved for the
Really, so registrar is in charge of classroom assignment.
Okay.
However, if you have other requests or room reservation, you can also email campus services.
Okay.
Campus services has been helping me reserve room for our workshop.
Okay.
But for a course, classroom assignment, it's registrar has to look.
Okay.
Campus services might be able to access that data as well. I'm not sure.
Okay. I'll work with it. I'll work with it.
Okay.
But yeah.
So, yeah,
Extension course.
For sure.
Extension course before extension in course.
Yep. Yeah, so power is definitely one of those things. We have a few, those are brand new as well, the white ones really. We have that one that was just in the office and then the switches here. So these were great. They have, not only do they have 4 power outlets on the side, yeah, they also have USB.
Great.
Yeah, so that's really what we're going for. What we would use. And so let's say you do teach in this classroom right across the hallway, Kitty. Like I mentioned earlier, we're kind of going to end off a little bit how we started. We mentioned that there's wheels on the bottom. So if you are interested in different layouts and having, this can also spark some ideas in other classrooms as well. This is the layout, that first image is the layout what it is right now. Right, this is what you see here. You can have this discussion here, where you can have a microphone somewhere in the middle with one of those desks. So here, you can have 2 groups of 3, for example. This sort of parallel, more closer together. You have more of a discussion, closer discussion with everybody. 3 groups of 2. Still 3 groups of 2, but more straight. And then this one's 1, 2, because here in this example, if we put the chairs and the desk to the side, then we can use the neat bar, for example. The neat bar is here on top of this screen, and it can capture that activity that's going on in the room. So you don't just necessarily have to use the neat bar, you can still use the output. It's all just sort of how you'd like to facilitate it, and what view you'd like to get in the end. And so with all that said, now what can we do now? Of course, you can always reach out to us, make an appointment to start your own personal project. Let's talk about where you're going to be located, where you might be located, your interests. Visit our CETA workshop SharePoint site for more information on upcoming trainings and resources. Revisit session material today. There's a new engaging students in any modality SharePoint button. We can go ahead and share it with you right now. And so do you like using QR codes, Kenny? Every now and then, right? So there is this QR code here. It's going to take you directly to a Microsoft form that we use to collect feedback. We do ask that you please go ahead and fill that out so that our next workshop and workshops to come are even better. Are you still in the Zoom chat?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna use the QR code.
Okay. So I'll just send that right now just so that it's in the chat. And then here's the QR code, Kenny. You got it? Okay. And then just for sake, I'll put it in the chat as well. You can see this.
Oh, yeah, probably the same thing.
Yes, you will. But I will probably process all the sites after our very last week. Oh, process all the summer items. Yeah.
I mean, I didn't do it. I was just.
So for HyFlex technology, for this workshop, because it's about 1.5 hours long, we faculty $75. And the last one, for the last one, for the previous one is 1 hour long, 50.
Got it.
So you can expect to, yeah, hear from me probably early August.
Okay.
Because we do have one more HyFlex.
Yes, in a different classroom,
In a different. one.
yeah.
Yes.
So thank you, Kenny. Really appreciate it. Thank you for coming by. Hope it was insightful and we get to hear from you some more. Definitely come by. More than happy to just build, really. So thank you.
You're welcome. We gave each other,